Uh, I know it was Sunday night when this happened. I know it was Sunday night. I remember it distinctly. I was in college. I was in my dorm room, and I just sat down to eat my wonderful meal of McDonald's at about 10 o'clock at night. So I was very excited to eat. It was the end of a long weekend of going around partying, having a good time. I went to college in New York. This was my senior year. My senior year was filled with a lot of going out in New York. I got a phone call while I was in my dorm room, and it was my friend Kirk. Now, my friend Kirk he's great. I don't see him much anymore because he lives in Korea now, but that's just the type of person he is, that he somehow ends up living in Korea, South Korea, not North Korea. He gives me a call, and we were in film school, and he is at the airport, and he calls me and says, "Hey, I've got this van that I had to rent to get all my equipment, film equipment, back to school. I don't have to return it tomorrow. Do you want to do something tonight? Like, I don't know, go to Atlantic City." And I was like, it's 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday. I just bought McDonald's. I think I'm staying in. Plus, I have to be at my internship at Nickelodeon tomorrow at 10 a.m. There's no way I can do that. And he's like, oh, come on. Now, my friend Kirk, to really understand him, he's not somebody who puts peer pressure on people. He's not like the person who forces you to be more manly, but he's the person who makes you feel bad that you're going to miss out on something great in life. He's one of those people that makes you feel like you can't not do things. That's very much the way Kirk is. That's why he's in Korea right now teaching kids how to speak English, even though he had no idea how to speak Korean before he got there. So Kirk won me over, and he won a few other people over, and over the next hour or so, a team was assembled, and we all loaded into a van. We had to pick up one friend at a bar, which is probably why it was easy to get him to come along. But while we were in the bar, there was this other guy, Johnny, who I did not know. Like, I was aware of him, but I had never hung out with him, and since this night, have never hung out with him again. Well, Johnny came along, because he thought it was a great idea, and off we went. Around midnight, I think we got started, driving down to Atlantic City. Now, this is the first time I had been to Atlantic City, I think, post-21. I had gone there a lot when I was a kid, and usually ended up just kind of watching my mom and dad play slots from behind the velvet rope. That's how it was back then. And then Showboat opened a bowling alley, and that was a good place to leave kids for like an hour. So that's also where I ended up for a while when that happened. So we went down. We started driving down, and we didn't have a lot of money. So what we decided on the Garden State Parkway was that we weren't going to pay tolls. But we weren't going to blow through tolls. We were just going to stop at every toll booth and get out and collect the change we need, because back then you had to throw 35 cents in. I don't know how it is now, but people miss all the time. So if you stop at every toll booth along the way, you can pay all your tolls down and all the way back. So that's what we did. At every toll booth, everyone would get out of the van. And it was midnight. There was no one out there, and there were no attendants. So we just got out, collected money, and that's how we paid all our tolls. And we went down, and I don't even know why we went to Atlantic City. We didn't have any money, so I can't imagine that we even really gambled. We just stayed up late, and it was just this thing to do. And I remember Alanis Morissette was there playing blackjack, and we thought that was the coolest thing ever, because back then Alanis Morissette was kind of cool. And it was like a big moment. We were like, hey, there's something else we can talk about. So the night went on. It was a great time. We had a great time there. And I was like, hey, we got to get back, because I got to get to my internship at 10 o'clock. So we started off on the road. And I don't know what time we started. We had seen the sun come up down at the beach, which was great. We started driving home, and we got stuck in a lot of traffic. And then we stopped at Bob's Big Boy along the way. I do remember that, and that was great. And then I got back to my dorm room around 9:15, showered, and was there at my internship at 10 o'clock right on time. I don't think I was particularly good or useful as an intern that day, having not slept, but I was probably never really, interns aren't useful, so it really didn't matter if I had not slept or not. I probably, I could still get coffee for everybody. And so that's essentially what happened. Now, I tell that story because I always think of that night fondly, because I think of Kirk, and I think of the type of person he is, and I think of the type of friends that I had then and have now who would do something like that, who would just on a moment's notice decide to change what they were doing. And sometimes I have to remind myself when I make plans in life, or when I don't have plans in life, sometimes you're just sitting there on any given night, eating your dinner, doing whatever it is you're going to do. You're sitting down to watch TV, and everything kind of feels stale and the same. And just outside of your, out of your view, there's just like 2 decisions or 3 decisions that could change the course of your whole night. Maybe the course of your whole life, but at least the course of your whole night. And they won't necessarily affect anything that comes after that, other than that they'll be a great memory. So what I want to encourage everybody to do, and what I always want to remind myself to do, is always to try to find those decisions and to make them. That's why I started doing Story Slam, is for reasons like that. That's why I started doing stand-up very late in my life, and it's why people have convinced me to do triathlons, even though I didn't know how to swim, and a lot of other bad decisions have been made on my part, all because of this. It's a good idea to answer the phone when it rings at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, even though you are about to eat your McDonald's, and it's an even better idea to say yes to whatever somebody's saying on the phone to you at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. That's my road trip story, everybody.